Everybody, so today we're going to be continuing with the decimals that we started last time. Today we're going to learn how to add and subtract decimals. And we'll also learn how to estimate those additions and subtractions. Sometimes we can estimate them in seconds instead of doing the actual operation. So first, let's start with addition. So addition of decimal is very similar to adding whole numbers or integers. So for instance, if you add in this decimal 12.5, you want to add that to say 7. Something like this. So to add these, the important thing is to align decimal points. Make sure you align them, meaning they have to be in the same column. So this is the first decimal. Second decimal should be right under the first one. Should be here. So you have to align them when you add or subtract only, not multiplication and division. That's different. We're going to talk about that another day. So 7 goes here, 3, and 8. See how you align the tenths with the tenths. This number doesn't have the hundredths, so we can add a 0 here. You can complete any gaps with zeros. That way it's easy to see the columns, and you can't, by mistake, add the wrong number. So fill up the gaps with zeros, and then simply add vertically, just like we do with whole numbers. So we got 8 here, 8, you drop the decimal point vertically, then 9 and 1. Okay, no big deal, pretty simple. Just again, make sure you align your decimals. You may also have, let's take another example. Say 7 here, and we want to add that to maybe 65 point. Okay, doesn't matter how many digits you have, doesn't matter how many decimals, how many numbers on each side. The decimals have to be aligned. Okay, you have to be like this. And then you just put whatever numbers you have. For example, here we have this. We have 7 on this side. And for this one, it's a decimal point. To the right, we have 5 and 6. Again, make sure you align. Don't write the numbers too far or too close. You want to keep your columns aligned. So the ones, the tens, the hundreds. This number doesn't have the hundreds. We can put a 0. And on the other side, we have 4, 1, and 2. The tenths, the hundreds, the thousands. This doesn't have those, so we can fill up the gaps with zeros. And then again, add vertically, just like adding whole numbers or integers. So when you get to this point, 7 plus 4, that's 11. So what do?
Borrow from the other number, the 7.
Yeah, so we have 7 and 4. We want to add them. So what do we write here, and what happens?
You put the 1 down and carry the other 1.
That's right. 7 and 4, that's 11. Always write the ones down and carry this over. We're going to carry this to the next column, which is this one. Drop the decimal point vertically. Keep adding 5. And 5 again is 10. Plus 1, 11. So we're going to write 1. Carry 1 to the next column and repeat. 8 and 6, that's 14. Plus 1, 15. So we're going to write 5. Carry the 1. Finally, add these 3, we get 5. And that's basically the sum of those two decimals. Okay, make sure again you align your decimals and add. At the end here, you may need to round the number depending on the question. It may ask you to round either to the nearest something, nearest tenth, nearest hundredths, nearest thousands, whatever the question might be. You can round that. If it doesn't ask you to round, then just leave it like this. So that's pretty much addition is very simple and straightforward. There's no big deal to it. Just add in and basically align in decimals. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Any questions about addition?
No.
No, it's easy.
Everybody else, you guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so addition, no big deal. Subtraction, however, can be a little tricky. Just like with the addition of whole numbers, it can also be tricky with decimals. So let's see how to do that. So it could be something simple like this. Let's say you have maybe 4 here, whatever, some other number, and actually, let's just take a couple of digits. Okay, so the setup is important again. Make sure your decimals are aligned. So we're going to write our first number. The other decimal should be right underneath the first one. And we have 13 here. We can even, yeah, that's good enough. Then we write the other. As you can see, this one has 3 digits here. This one only has 2, but we can always complete the missing parts with zeros. This is good enough. We have both have 10s and 1s. And then subtract. So 7 take away 0, that's 7. 4 take away 3, that's 1. 5 minus 2, 3. Bring down the decimal. And 5 here. 2 take away 1 is 1. So in this case is pretty simple. We didn't have to borrow. We didn't have to do anything. It's just straightforward subtraction. But other times there might be, imagine if we had, let's say, maybe instead of 3 here, let's say you had 8, and you want to do 4 minus 8. In this case, we can't subtract right away, so we have to do something. Let's see what to do. And so you want to subtract this and maybe 8 here. Okay, so let's do this subtraction here. So we want to write your first decimal and minus the other decimal. And let's actually not include this one here. Just take just 8. And we have 62. Again, the key thing here is to make sure your decimals are aligned. Do not push the numbers to the right or left. Just write the decimals. And then if you have some gaps like these, you can always put the zeros, put zeros here. Okay, so now when we subtract vertically, so 0 take away 2. Obviously, you can't do that. So what happens here if you want to do 0 minus 2?
You got to borrow from the 1, Professor.
That's right. Since we can't do 0 minus 2, we go to the next column and we borrow 1. Whatever number here is, take 1 from it.
This one is subtraction.
Yes, that is subtraction. So 0 minus 2 can do, we're going to subtract, we're going to borrow 1 from here. It turns into 0. The one we borrow goes here. Goes into the number we were trying to subtract. Now we can do 10, take away 2, which is 8.
It's 5.
All right, base back to this one, 0. Now we have 0 left. 0 take away 6. We can't do it. So what happens?
You borrow 1 from the 5.
That's right. So we're going to borrow from the next column. You go to the next column, you're going to take 1 from here, so it turns into a 4.
Is 2.
And the one we borrowed will go next to the 10. We borrow 1 from here, turns into a 4. The one we borrowed goes next to the 10. So now we can do 10, take away 6. Please keep yourself, please keep yourself muted, exists. So 10 take away 6 is 4. Okay, 10 take away 6 is 4. Then 4 take away 8. Again, another problem. We can't do 4 minus 8. Again, we're going to borrow from the next column. So we're going to take 1 from here, turns into 3. And the one we borrowed from here goes next to the 4. Now we have a 14. So 14 take away 8 is 6. Finally, we have 3 left here. Take away 0 will be 3. And that's pretty much that's pretty much how you subtract. So if you can't subtract number from another, you borrow from the next column. Does that make sense, everybody? This problem, you got it?
Yes. And the point going between 36.48.
That's right. So that's the answer, 36.48. So we have to align the decimals when we add or subtract decimals. Any questions, everybody, about this example?
No questions so far.
Mm-hmm.
It's 45,
Mm-hmm.
10, no?
Say it again?
It's 45.10, no? Okay.
This one, 45.1, yeah. We added 0 to it just to complete, just to fill up this gap here.
But when it's 0, it's 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you continue,
I had to take 1 from here and make it a 10. Let me do another example. So it's
but it is number 9, no?
9. Why 9? Well, 10 take away 2, which is 8.
Yeah, okay.
Then 10 take away 6, it's 4. 14 take away
10.
6.
One more time, 10. Why?
Let me do another example.
Okay.
Just 1 second. Let me do another example. Let's say I want to subtract this. And maybe from here I want to subtract maybe okay, so first again, the decimals must be like this. Must be aligned. So you write your first decimal, second one. 6 should be end of the 4, not too far, not end of the 5. So this is the ones, 3, and 1. Gustavo, are you there? Gustavo, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so please stay within the frame of the camera, okay? I didn't.
You did?
Yeah, just stay within the frame, okay?
Yeah, I'm okay right now?
Yeah, just stay like that, because I was seeing only the paper, I couldn't see it.
Okay.
All right. So again, make sure everybody will align the decimals. we don't have a number here, we can always put the zeros in the empty spaces here too and here too, and subtract. All right, so what do you do in this case? So we have 0 minus 1. So what happens?
It's 10.
It's 10. So to make it 10, we're going to take 1 from here. We're going to take 1.
6.
So this turns into 6. Take 1 from here, the 1 goes here.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people like to take it from here sometimes. But, so 10, take away 1
9.
is 9. 6, take away 3
Mm-hmm.
is 3. Decimal point. Now we have another problem. 4, take away 6. So 4 minus 6 is not possible. So what do you do?
1. 14.
Everybody, what do we do here? We can do 4 minus 6.
You take away from the 5.
That's right. We're going to borrow from the 5.
The 5. Mm-hmm.
And
4 became 14.
that's right. This turns into a 4. And the 1 we borrowed goes here. So now we have a 14 here.
Just 3.
6, which is 14 divided with 6 would be 8.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 minus 0. Do we need to borrow?
No.
We don't.
Mm-hmm.
1 take away 0 is 4. Same thing here, no problem. 1 take away 0 is 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically the subtraction addition. Very similar to, again, adding and subtracting integers and whole numbers. The only difference is that you need to make sure you align the decimals. If you don't align them, it will be different. Even if you have something like 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, and let's say you have 5.111111. So if you align these, so it would be 51111, the decimal point, I mean, not like this. So you have 5 here and some number, and you have 3, 2, 3, 3, 3. You may look weird, but you have to align the decimals. For example, here would be 5, 3, 2, 3, 3. So you write the first number, then you align the decimals, and the other one is, we have 0 here. Then we have 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. Okay, so that's the way you should look. You cannot just push the numbers to the right like we do with the whole numbers. So this one has to be exactly like this. Then you add your numbers vertically. Let's say this was addition. So you have 0, 0, 1, 5, 2, 2, 3, 3. That's the way it should look. Do not be tempted to push these to the right so you could align them here. No, you do that with whole numbers. So this is the way this one is done, not push the numbers closer together or to the right. So keep that in mind. You have to align that. Number 3. Sometimes we need to estimate addition or subtraction of decimals without having, let's say, we don't want to do this math. You just want an estimate, a quick answer. It doesn't have to be accurate. You just want an estimation. So in that case, what you do is, we kind of round the numbers. We round them, and we can do this quickly without actually having the exact answer. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let's say you want to have, for example, 5.8 to 5, 6, 7, whatever decimals, and we would add this to some number here. Let's say 9. Okay, there's a way we can do this very quickly, usually mentally, just by looking at it. You can do it quickly. You won't get an exact answer, but you get like an estimate, a rough estimate of the answer. What you do is you round this. You go to the whole part, and you go to the very first digit here, and you round the whole number to this digit. So you go to the first number here, then you look to the right of the number. If this number is 5 or more, you add 1 here. If not, you don't add 1. In this case, we have 8 here. So it means we're going to add 1 to this. And we ignore the decimal part, just ignore it. Just throw it away. So 8 is 5 or more, so we're going to add 1 here, it just turns into a 6. Turn the rest here into 0, and just completely ignore the decimal part. We don't need it. Then you do the same thing here. So the first number here is 9. By looking at 9, do we add 1 to it or not?
Not.
If you look to the right of 9, based on this number, do we add 1 here or not?
I think no.
Is this 4 or 5 or more?
Mm.
So you look at 9.
Yes, you add
Yeah,
one.
it could be 10.
Yeah, we add the 1. We add another 1, Professor.
Exactly. So we look at
So that make it 10.
So this will make it 10, and ignore the decimal part. And this you can do quickly, so we all know this will be.
I thought, Professor, that if we, like in the other problem, 58,
Mhm.
if the number are together, like 58, I thought that we can add 1.
No.
But if the 9 is alone, I thought
You
that-
only look, you will look for the first digit here, and you look to the right of it.
Oh, okay.
If this number is 5 or more, you add 1. If not, you don't add 1. It stays the same. Turn this into 0, and ignore the decimals. So this, again, can be done very quickly with your
Okay.
eyes, basically, mentally, your eyes and brain quickly without having to use a calculator, without having to do this. This is not the exact answer, but it's very close, an approximation. So sometimes when you don't really care about the exact answer. You just want to estimate quickly, so you do that. But when you do need the actual answer, the exact, precise answer, then you grab a pen and paper and do that manually, which will take you 2 to 3 minutes or so, based on the numbers. But if you want to do something quickly here, this takes literally seconds. So if the question is subtract or add, then you do this. If it says estimate, then you don't have to do it this way. Just round, and find the answer. So you round, then add. Let's see another example. This time maybe with subtraction. This time with subtraction. So let's say you have and from this we want to subtract maybe this. Again, the purpose of this is not to care much about the decimals. Just round this to the nearest whole numbers like these and then add them. Just by looking at it, can someone tell us what's the answer in a few seconds? No paper, no calculation, just look at it, do the math in your head. What do you think this would be?
Okay, and the first one, 213, I think is stay the same.
Okay, so what's the overall answer for this problem?
The whole answer is 213. The first one,
This whole thing. The whole
the whole thing.
165?
155. How did you get 155?
Oh, let me do it.
What this comes out to be? What is the closest? What is this rounded to the nearest hundredth?
That's 213. That
No,
would stay the same.
we'll say the same, but we turn these into zeros. So when you round, so we are not going to add 1 here, but these will turn into zeros.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Because it's
Okay, think
nah.
about that. What's the answer? The whole answer here will be
150?
150. So that's a rough estimate.
Mhm.
Do in 3 seconds. You did it in a few seconds. Imagine if you were to do this manually with all these decimals, it would take you 5 minutes, depending on your experience, and it may take you 5 minutes. But you can also do this very quickly. Say you're a at a supermarket or something, or a store and you're shopping, you don't have time to do the math or grab a paper or a calculator. You can just look at this and think for a couple of seconds. And you already know your estimation. And later when you want the exact answer, you can pull up a calculator or use a paper. So this is roughly 200 minus 50, and that's very quickly to 150. So if it says estimate, then estimate. It's supposed to save time, not to. Supposed to save time, not to waste time. So for this part here, it's not exactly this. Use these squiggly lines. It looks like an equal sign, but this is approximation. Okay, like approximately. It looks like an equal sign, but with these lines about so-so, close value. But this we know for a fact that 200 minus 50 is exactly 150. So that's an equal sign. This about, okay? Close or about, or roughly, or whatever adjective we want to use. Adverb. Okay, let me give you all right, try to give me the answer of this one quickly here. Let's say, so you want to add this to something. Okay, what's the answer there here? If you do it in one shot, what would it be?
$140.
77.
77 it is.
Really?
That's right. So no calculator, no paper. You can do the math quite quickly if you just round.
Oh yeah. I was doing.
So this, you go to the first digit, you look to the right, it's 5 or more, that's good. So this turns into 70. Turn everything else into zeros and ignore the decimal plus. Same thing here, you have 7, look to the right, it's 2. We're not adding 1 here, it will be just 7. Ignore this, and this will be 7. So take advantage of that when you like I said, when you're in a situation where you don't have time or stuff to do the math, you can just look at numbers and estimate prices, estimate this and that. And that's pretty much your addition and subtraction of decimals. Multiplication and division are different, yes, and they take a little more time. So we're going to learn that in our next class or lecture sometime soon. Okay, everybody, any questions about any of this so far?
Yes. Teacher, when you say it's approximate, it's 65.
Speak a little louder and get closer.
When you
Where's
say
I can
it's
see it on the
approximate-
screen.
Liz, one more time, Liz, go ahead. Speak louder.
Yeah, when you say it's approximate, okay, it's 65, but it's 70. Why?
Because this one is close to 60. This one is close to 10.
Mm-hmm.
So we add 60 and 10 is 70.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but down.
Down here?
Mm-mm. Down, more down.
Down here, okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So first you look at this number.
Mm-hmm.
Then
It's 65.
you look to the right of it. If this number 5 or more, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, you add 1 here. Okay? So 1 here and
1.
turn everything into 0. But if the number, for example, this one, we have 7, we have 2 here. This number is less than 5. Less. So we didn't add here. We didn't turn this into 8. It stays 7. Okay, so look at this number. If the number here is 5 or more, this will be 8. But if it's less than 5, 4 or 2 or 3 or 1, it doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
We estimated this is 70. We added 1. We estimated this is 7. So we add the 2. It's quicker to add whole numbers. We get 77. For example, here, let's say you have 53. So if you want to round this to the nearest 10th here, do we add 1 here or not?
With number 3, but
Do we,
when you say round, if you have 5, up 5, you
Okay.
can run, but if down 5, you don't can put one number more.
Okay, so do we add 1 to 5 or not? Based on this one, do we add 1 or not?
No.
No, because this one is less than 5, so this will be
Okay.
50. So we round to the nearest 10th. But what if we had 5, for example, 9? So what is this equal to, approximately?
60.
60. Exactly. Because this is we add 1, so it's 60.
Yeah.
Round it, so we round the numbers to the nearest place value, whether 1s or 10s, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I understand this number 63 and 53 and 59, but the other number no, because it's 65 and 1, 2, 3.
It's 5 or more. Okay, 5 or more.
Okay.
You add. So 5 or more, but it's 4 or less. You don't add. Only 5 or more. 5 and up, you add. But here, no addition.
Yeah, when this down 5 is no addition. When this up 5.
Okay, 5 or up. Okay, 5 or up, you add. But 4 or less.
No.
4 or less, you don't add.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's basically how you approximate. So again, sometimes the math, when you don't care about the change or the decimals, for example, if you're talking about money, you don't really care. Let's say you're talking about items that cost hundreds or tens of dollars. You don't really care about the change, that little change. You just want to know if I buy this, let's say a dress costs, I don't know, this, and something else costs this, and maybe something else costs 8 and 1. So let's say you want to buy all this. You don't really care about the details. So this is 60, this is 210, and this is 8. So this can be done quickly in your head. So you know your total would be about 278. This just will waste you time. It doesn't affect this much, only about plus or minus a couple of dollars. I don't know, plus or minus $2 or so, or $1. So it doesn't affect this much compared to the amount. So that's why we approximate, because we can neglect or some negligible cents here or decimals that will not affect your total that much. It will not make you richer or poorer, these few cents here. And that's the purpose of estimation. Is basically to save time, and when we don't really care about the precise answer yet. And later, if you want the actual answer, like I said, you can do the actual math, add, subtract precisely, and get your answer. Okay, everybody, any other questions?
Thank you, teacher.
All right, everybody else, you guys good?
Yes, I understand.
Yes.
All right. Let me give you a couple of problems to practice on your own. And of course, when you do the quizzes or the exams, so you will need to show the work like this. Not just show me the answer. I need to know how you got it. If you just show it, you may not get credit. So that's why I say show your work, calculators, whatever, in the exams and homework. So we all know how to use a calculator and we can do it quickly, but we need to know how to do it without a calculator first. Once we get to that point when we're advanced, then we can rely on calculators, but first we need to know how to do it. So always show your stuff like this on the side. The more you show, the more credit you will get. So practice these problems here. Add or subtract. Okay, subtract these. By the way, you can also add multiple decimals. For example, this.
Professor, I don't see it on the screen. The screen is blank.
There's something with your, you need to, your Zoom is not showing. You need to probably maximize or.
Because I take the class on the phone, that's why I cannot see it.
I don't think you can see much on the phone, but everybody else, you guys can see this clearly, right?
Yes, I can see.
Yep.
It's not the best way to look at it on the phone, but maybe you're not looking at the right screen. You gotta pull up the right thing to display on your screen.
Zoom in on your screen. You could zoom in on your phone and make it
Zoom in
bigger.
on out or out, or bring the right app up. You're probably looking at some other app. You need to, the Zoom should be on your main, should be the one you're looking at. Okay, everybody, so go ahead and try these problems. Again, manually, make sure you know how to do it. I don't need the answer, I know it. You just need to make sure you know how to do it yourself. And estimate. Gustavo.
Yes, Professor.
1 second. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay.
So estimate here. Let's see. Add these and everybody, so this is your practice. Give you a lot of time to work on these. Okay, take a few minutes and we'll go over this together once we're done. Okay, what did you get for the first one, everybody?
291. 881.
881. That's right. What about the second one?
68.7.
68.
68.7. 07 or 7?
17.
17. Okay, let's double check. That's right, 68.17. And the last one here. So same way you align all the decimals, all three of them, same operation. And you add vertically just like we did. And what did you guys get?
100,
Mm-hmm.
117,
117.
117, 653.
653. That's right.
Okay.
That's the answer there. And here, if we approximate these, what is the final answer here? Everybody, what is the approximation here?
60.
This is 50.
60.
7, right?
27.
So 57.
Mhm.
And for this one, what do you guys get?
I get 30 on that one.
Not 30. But,
35,
so first, this the closest.
35, 36,
No, this will be, if you add 1 here, it will be
40.
40. And
40.
40. And the other one is 10.
which is, if you subtract,
So subtract this 30.
30.
30.
I get 30.
Mhm.
And again, the last one here, approximation,
300
300. And
plus 50.
that's right, which is
350.
350.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is 300. This is 50, close. And you add those quickly. This is again here 40 plus 10. And here you have 50 plus 7, you get 57. So approximation, as you can see, can do some complex stuff in seconds, which is very convenient.
This is nothing. Oh, okay.
Time is money and money is time. And whatever you do saves you. Okay, any questions, everybody? About any of this?
Yes, I can say I know.
Okay, so you can rewatch this. I'll upload it. I'll upload this, and you guys can. Along with
Okay.
the homework, I'll upload this and its homework so you can practice. Again, practice manually. Use your hand and paper. Practice and practice and practice. You can check your answer with a calculator, but not get the answer. Make sure you got it right. Use a calculator after you try it. If you got it wrong, then try again manually until you get it right.
Okay, teacher.
Mhm.
When you say estimate is wrong, no?
Which one?
When you say estimate is wrong, no? Down. In the class you say, no, all is wrong, no? When you say estimate.
8.4, 8.5.
When you say approximate is redondear, no?
So approximation is close. It's not the exact answer. So
yeah.
it says estimate. You don't need to do the math like this. You don't have to get the exact answer. It's not wrong. It's an approximation. So if the question is estimate, then estimate it. But if it says add or subtract, like here, then do the actual operation like we did earlier and get the exact answer. Okay, so estimate or approximate or something like that. Okay, so it just used, it's not wrong, like I said, but it just an approximation.
I need this letter. Okay.
Okay. You could turn